All right, so let's jump into this segment, okay? Let's jump into this segment. Big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this segment as well. So I want to talk about the Wembanyama situation, right? Because it still seems like some people are joining the live stream that are quite scared of the whole situation with the blood clot in his right shoulder. And there's been a lot of misinformation going around regarding this. It's been kind of disgusting, like to the point where I'm genuinely getting quite irritated. So first and foremost, take this as you will. I'm not somebody that gloats about this. I don't jump on social media and talk about it all the time. I don't post anything about this. But I do get sources myself, which are very valid, very good stuff, very good sources. And from what I heard is that while it is serious, right, they don't want to take it lightly, everything's going to be totally fine. Like, they're very optimistic going forward. They caught it early. The Spurs really wanted to check up on him because of the constant shortness of breaths that was going on. And yeah, that's what they found. But they believe that he's going to be completely fine come next season, right? Total recovery and everything. So they're not 100% worried about it. But it's not something that they want to take lightly. Another thing too, a lot of people being super negative, saying, oh my God, it's the Chris Bosh situation. I just saw someone in the chat bring that up. Chris Bosh was definitely later in his career, when that got caught. And also one thing to keep in mind is, you look at someone like Brandon Ingram, who had a very similar, issue. He recovered from it. He's totally fine. So I just don't want it to be like crazy panic here, right? But people are starting to like speculate where it came from, which is very disgusting to me and starting to irritate me. So we'll start with Fox Sports literally saying something, and then we'll just talk about some of the stuff that I've been seeing around Twitter that's been very bothersome. So this is from Fox Sports, the Jason Smith show. And this is and what's really frustrating about this as well, I guarantee you they only heard from, media, Shams or whatnot, that, Wemby has this condition, and then they just ran with their thoughts on it rather than actually talking to anyone about it. But this is what they had to say.
No more Wemby this season. Victor Wembanyama has been shut down by the Spurs.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Got turned up a little bit.
The rest of the season, it was reported that he has deep vein thrombosis in his shoulder, and it's a blood clot basically, and it's treated with blood thinner medications, which means when you treat it with blood thinners, obviously anybody who's ever been
yeah, thank you. Melissa said Bosh was 31 and the original clot was in his lung.
treated with blood thinners, it's like, hey, listen, you're going to bleed really easily, you got to stay away from physical activity. So with this going on, such pesky things like contact basketball is not recommended. And it's really stunning because the first quotes from the Spurs on this are, yeah, we're hopeful he's back to start the season. Mm-hmm. Like, whoa, this is February. That season's end of October. And that
it's going to take several months to make sure that he's all right, he's good to go. That's totally normal. Like they're saying, like the season, we don't have that much of the season left, right? Like it's totally fine for them to say, yeah, he'll be fine come next season. Like we're very hopeful and optimistic that he'll be totally fine next season. Like that makes sense, right? We don't have that many games left. We just got a couple months left of basketball. I mean, like 3 months? Do we have 3 months left of basketball?
Underlies how big a deal this is. Now, I don't want to sit here and say, oh my goodness, the sky is falling, but for Wemby, this is not an injury. This is not, hey, Wemby's got a scapular fracture and he's going to be out, or he's got an adductor strain and likely he's not going to be able to get up and down the floor. Like
G Money says 6 months. I heard at the very least. That's what I've heard. It's 3 to 6 months. But knowing the Spurs and how they are, it's going to be at least 6 months, right?
Injuries are one thing. This is a condition. Deep vein thrombosis like this is exacerbated depending how tall you are and if you fly a lot, right? Like this is the injury that basically ended Chris Bosh's career.
Yeah, a decade ago.
And Brandon Ingram had it too. He's been able to bounce back. So it's not like this is something that is, this is doom and gloom. He's not going to play again.
Yeah, I mean, he just got a 3 for 120. So, he rallied nicely from his 2019 bout.
Yeah, this is a thing that you have to
6 months just because that's how long you had to be on blood thinners. Yep.
Look and say, how do you manage this for his career when you're in your early 20s and you're worried about deep vein thrombosis and blood?
Will he be able to work out and focus on skills? Let me tell you this. We've noticed that Wembanyama has been off for a minute now, and he still managed to play games, go to the All-Star game, play really well. He'll be totally fine. It's just going to be more well managed, and now that they know what it is, they can better take care of him and his needs. But I have no doubt in my mind that he'll still be able to, focus on his skills, get better, work out. It's just going to be better now, actually, because they can just really monitor him.
Clots. Travel is part of the gig, right? Like that when you're an NBA, when you're an athlete, travel's part of the gig, and especially if you're someone who jets back and forth.
Plan, this is way too negative. Yeah, I don't like this is. Don't listen, bro. It's Fox Sports, okay? Like. It's not that big a deal. Do not worry about what they have to say. Like a lot of these outlets just take the situation, take the news, and just run with it and give their own thoughts on it or whatnot. Like don't worry about it. In-house, from what I heard, and now what everyone has heard, and all of you guys have heard, and what I've heard, even outside of what I was already told, Spurs reporters everywhere that's closer to the situation believe that we're going to be all right. All right. I'm eating cereal, Clam. What kind of cereal?
Cross country.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch? That's like the best cereal. I haven't had Cinnamon Toast Crunch in forever because I'm eating low carb. But as soon as I get to my weight that I want to get to, that's going to be one of the first things I eat.
For the long flights, any flight longer than 4 hours, they recommend that you do enough to avoid. That's the danger part for blood clots. This is now something he's got to manage for his career, and you wonder, are they going to cut down with travel on it? Will he cut back on traveling for road trips, depending how far things are? If the Spurs play international games, this has become.
Okay, now he's talking about next season. Is he going? Okay, so enough of all that. So this is Brian Sutterer. I think that's how you say it. Everyone refers to him when it comes to basketball injuries. Everyone was just waiting for him to say something. So he's a sports medicine doctor, big YouTuber. People know of him. And this is what he had to say responding to this Fox Sports radio host. This is horribly inaccurate and harmful speculation. Maybe, I don't know, have an actual medical professional talk about medical things. So he has even said himself that, and he's responding to this quote right here that we just listened to. For Wemby, this is not an injury. This is a condition. Deep vein thrombosis is exacerbated depending on how tall you are and if you fly a lot. So he's basically taking that claim and saying, no, you're full of crap. Shut up. Don't talk about this situation. All right. So here's some other things that I've seen. And I think that this is a joke, but I don't think it's a funny joke. Okay. So this is Jeremy Sohan messing with Wemby last season, in which Wemby tried to throw the ball. He stopped it. And you can see Wemby grab his shoulder that hurt, right? And this person, Spurs Nation, said this isn't the smartest thing to do, Jeremy Sohan, right? Whatever. And then reposted it today and said, wait. And there's a lot of people liking it. And if you go to the comments, I won't go through them, but there's quite a few people in the comments saying, oh, yes, Sohan needs to be gone. He needs to be traded. Absolutely ridiculous to even speculate that is what happened. This as well. So shout out to Brian Sutterer for posting this as well. So someone said, this injury might have caused the blood clot on Victor Wembanyama's shoulder, maybe. And, that's G.G. Jackson, right? Falling on Wemby, and he's just said no. So there's that. A few things I just don't like. So these are Kings fans. Shout out to G Money in the chat. I know you're a Kings fan, bro. You need an answer for your people. What is this? So I was genuinely confused by this post. So this person says that's what De'Aaron Fox get for leaving the Kings. This person I'm rolling, chasing stars instead of being a star. I actually didn't know what they were referring to, but they're laughing because Wemby got injured, and they're like, "This is what psychotic." Yeah, G Money. Wow, G Money. These are your people. You need to be a Spurs fan, my boy. These are your people. These your peeps. These are his people. Yeah, man. You need to just be a Spurs fan. You need to get away from this. This is super toxic. This is super toxic. That's awful. Anyways. We also have Skip Bayless, which I actually didn't read this. You guys told me to bring this up, but Skip Bayless, this announced Wemby injury is just strange. You have to wonder if the Spurs just decide to shut him down with 30 games left, with the team just 23-29, 1-2 out of play-in. I actually don't know what that means. Maybe I'm just stupid. 3-1. I don't know. Just to eliminate unnecessary wear and tear on a still fragile 21-year-old body. What are we talking about? No. Don't copyright claim me. I cannot stop the thing. Dude, I got to make it like a GIF or something. Anyways, thanks for the super chat, Larry. He says, do us all a favor. Grab a pillow and scream into it. What the actual F? Keep doing your thing, fam. All love. We're winning the chip. Maybe next year. Oh, Larry finally got off of the whole we're winning the chip this year thing. That's sad. That's actually sad. Yeah, Skip, I don't know what he's going on about. Spurs wouldn't. If the Spurs were going to shut down Wemby, I said this before, if they were going to shut down Wemby and it had nothing to do with illness or whatever, then they would have waited till he got to the 65 games, right? Like they just would have waited for that. So nothing there, nothing crazy there. So speaking of Brian Sutterer, I do want to go over this segment. Shout out to Josh Paredes for posting some of the bullet points of what he had to say about the injury. So I definitely want to go over this. But before we do, really quick, you guys know we got to talk about BetUS. Clan Skip Bayless is getting old and just being decrepit. He has been awful. He has genuinely been awful, right? Like all the toxicity that he's brung over the years is starting to catch up to him. And now he's nothing but toxicity. I don't think there's one positive thing that comes out of his mouth, right? And then all those allegations about paying that woman money to sleep with them. It's a lot going on with Skip. Anyways, big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this segment. If you guys are interested whatsoever, a lot of us are talking about Cooper Flagg coming to the San Antonio Spurs. If you think that that's a possibility, maybe you can head on over to BetUS, use promo code YouTube150. You'll receive 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your second and third deposit, up to $2,000. And they also have casino, if that's something that you're interested in as well. So check that out if you're into it. But as far as the Spurs' chances for getting our boy Coop, pretty decent. Better than most. So if you do 15, that is $270. So all you would do is hit the money line here, put your wrist there, place your bet, and then confirm it with that bad boy. So let's go ahead and confirm that 15 USD, and you'll win 270 if that were to happen. But anyways, back to what we were looking at. So here we go. Let's listen to Brian Sutterer on this situation. And maybe speed it up a little bit. Oops, that's going to be way too fast. Let's do 1.25. Hopefully that makes you feel good, okay? Hopefully that makes you feel good, is that you literally just can't do it while you're on blood thinners, okay? Too low. Oh, my goodness. I am so sorry, guys. I didn't realize how low it was. Sorry. Wait, let's do it again.
that blood clot can embolize, which means move, and if it moves, the next thing in line is going to be the heart, and then it can go to the lung, so it can be deadly. Now, with prompt medical attention and treatment, this should not be deadly. The blood clot should be treated, resolved, and no emboli are going to...
Dragon Ball going to be lit tomorrow? This is so off. I should not have done this. Why did I just jump in the middle of this segment to talk about this? Yes, Dragon Ball is going to be amazing. I have to catch up. I saw some of the spoilers for tomorrow. Mind blown. And then we have a Rivals update. Friday's going to be a good day.
Going to get thrown or clots get thrown off to the heart, but this is great that they caught this because this can be a challenging diagnosis. It's a very rare diagnosis, so absolute props to the Spurs medical staff for catching this before it caused any significant other complications. But more commonly, you're just going to be put on blood thinners. And the reason that Wembanyama can't continue playing is because basketball is enough of a contact sport that you cannot safely compete when you're taking blood thinners because of the risk of other trauma, injuries to the head, etc. And oftentimes it's blood thinners for about 3 to 6 months, hence why he's going to be out for the rest of the season. And we've seen with Brandon Ingram, he's come back, he's had a great career, no issues, and I would hopefully expect the same for Victor Wembanyama. Think of this as something that happens most often to repetitive overhead athletes. The repetitive shooting motion can cause trauma in that blood vessel, potentially some compression from nearby anatomic structures. Over time, that causes a clot to develop within that vein. The clot develops, blood can't...
So basically, he's just playing too hard. He's taking too many shots a day. He's Kobe. He's basically just Kobe. That's what I got from this. Don't tell me otherwise.
Get back from the arm up in, so you get swelling, pain. Thankfully, in his case, it doesn't sound like the clot moved or embolized into the lungs, but to treat this, you're often going to be put on blood thinners, which restricts your play, and typically undergo a surgery for decompression of this whole thoracic outlet space to remove that external compressive force on the blood vessels.
All right, there we go. I didn't hear Ish. I just played it. You didn't hear it? Or you meant before you didn't hear anything, Huncho? Anyways, needs to lower his 3-point shooting volume, I guess. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. So will this affect the way he plays forever? I don't think so. At least from what I heard, it shouldn't. It should be totally fine. You know? It'll be all right. Something to monitor, but it will be all right. So like he said, this is something that happens over time, right? And we know Wemby has done a lot even early in his career, right? Even as a teenager, he's done so much as far as taking a team that had nothing, and making them a true competitor. So he's done a lot in his early career. But one thing that he said, and the reason why he was pushing back on some of these silly notions, like this one in particular, is that this isn't something that happens from one singular event, right? This is something that happens over time. And like he said, this happens with athletes. This can happen with athletes. While it's still pretty rare, it happens with athletes more often than not.
And typically,
Sorry. Yeah, it happens with athletes more often than you would expect. Not more often than not, but more often than you would expect. He's going to have so much dog and hunger next season. He is going to be fine. My main thing from all of this, there's nothing that I've heard personally that I think are really good sources. I don't think they are really good sources. And there's nothing that I heard outside of that makes me believe that we should be like completely worried and like, oh my God, this is going to end his career. I'm not worried about it at all. Everything that we've heard thus far seems to be the Spurs got it underhand. We're going to handle it. He'll be fine. And it's good that we caught it now, right? That's the main thing. So no France games this year, right? No, it shouldn't be. Here. What year are we in? 2025, the great year of 2025. It hasn't been a great year so far, but let's see. No, he shouldn't play at all. Here, let's bring up a calendar just to have some fun here. This is a colorful one. I like this. All right, so it started this year, and we know it's going to be 6 months, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, he's not playing overseas. That's not going to happen. It's usually, like I said, it's 3 to 6 months. But knowing the Spurs, they're going to emphasize you're doing those 6 months, right? So 6 months, no. I think that it would have started in, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it would have started in June to July. I think that's when that would have started. Some people told me it wouldn't start right after this season. It would start like a month after that. So we're good to go. Yeah, he's not playing. So I wanted him to have a true offseason. Not like this, but at the end of the day, don't be worried. I think we're okay. Bottom line, Clan is it was caught and is being addressed. A tragedy has been avoided. God bless you, Wemby. Yeah, don't worry about it. Sorry, France. Yeah, sorry, France. Anyone who pounces on someone because of an illness are not in their right mind. Oh, you're talking. Okay. Oh, wait. G Money just showed up. Okay. G Money said, my bad, my phone died. But as far as the Kings fans, not all fans are created equal. Some just say stupid stuff. Well, Spurs fans have like really bad takes as well. Like, don't get me wrong. But yeah. Some crazy people over there. Maybe you should be a Spurs fan, man. We'll accept you too. I'm not one of those people that say you can't leave your team. You can leave your team as long as you come to mine. Have we looked into what Brandon Ingram's treatment comeback for the same condition looked like? No, I haven't. Let's see. He had surgery to remove his, apparently. And, you know, and a lot of times when it comes down to illnesses as well, not all are the exact same, right? Like your cold versus someone else's cold could be completely different depending on the person. Not a doctor, I'm just saying. Let's see. Frequently accompanied by swelling and pain in a limb. The condition usually occurs in legs, but can occur in the upper body. Blood clots have affected several prominent athletes, including Chris Bosh and Serena Williams in recent years. Bosh recently retired due to blood clotting issues, and we know his was in the lungs. Yeah, they didn't really give us a breakdown what it looked like, but it looked like he had surgery. But we're fine. Spurs medical staff is great. He'll be okay. I don't think we can compare the two cases. It's very difficult to just compare two like right off the bat, right? The most important, like the chatter said earlier, the most important thing, they caught it early. The Spurs are optimistic. I heard that they're optimistic. Spurs reporters now are out, like they're optimistic. Nothing to really worry about right now. You know, let's just keep it moving, okay? Future is still very bright. Just add some more talent to this team and keep it rolling. We weren't going to do much this season anyways. So, there's that. Anyways, enough of that. Just wanted to break it down to you, show you, some accurate information from our boy Brian Sutterer here, and also look at some of the misinformation that's been making its rounds around, Spurs spaces. So, don't be too gloom about this, okay? We have we're Spurs fans, okay? We have other players on the team that we can watch. It's not just about Wemby. We have other players that need to improve. We have Sohan who's improving. We need to see Fox take on the Spurs culture and start to be one of our main guys, right? We need to see Devin Vassell hopefully be a little bit more consistent, but I don't think it's 100% necessary. But we're all right. We got other players that are Spurs players that are going to be important for the future as well. So let's not hyper fixate on the Wemby situation. He'll be okay. Next man up. Let's enjoy the rest of the season. Nothing changes. I don't know if what Usar had is the same thing, but he had blood clots and seems to be doing fine now. Oh yeah, people brought that up too. Clan, we keep it positive. Yes, sir. We keep it positive until there's a reason not to. There's no reason not to keep it positive. Ton of media outlets sensationalizing. Thanks for having a sober take. Yeah, they're going to sensationalize it. That's just what they're going to do. How could you not, right? I guess I just get a little irritated when it's like completely misinformed. Because like I said, I hear what I hear. But then also it's good to make sure that people that know what they're talking about talk about it as well. And I feel like we all have enough information now that there's no reason we should really be down and gloom about it. And we definitely shouldn't be because Fox Sports Radio says something, you know? Bro, the Twitter docs made it sound like Wemby died. Bro, I saw someone post like, gonna miss you, Wemby. And it was literally like a slideshow. It was a slideshow of Wembanyama moments. And I'm like, what are we doing with sad music in the background? What are we doing? It's playing Boys to Men. What's going on, man? Anyways, it's the end segment. Big shout out to BetUS sponsoring this segment.